Hello and welcome to the BookEnds YouTube channel. If you are here from our last video with Estrela, we're happy to have you, but we got to steal her for two videos. So today we are going to talk more about like the agent-illustrator relationship, what it's like to actually do the work of publishing, finding deals, stuff like that. Whereas our last video was how illustrators can break into the industry. So if you didn't catch that one, please go watch it. Otherwise, I'm handing it off to you, Jessica.
I am going to put you both in the hot seat. This is so exciting.
Come
So,
on.
I guess the first very obvious question is how did you come to work together a little bit? How do agents and illustrators find each other?
Do you want to start or
Yeah, I can. Well, I think Estrella and I are a little bit different because a lot of illustrators are kind of seeking representation, just like authors might. I don't know if a lot of illustrators know you can query your work. You can send a letter with your portfolio. But Estrella and I started working together in March of 2020 because I was poring over the kidlit art
Really were.
hashtag on Instagram and just got incredibly lucky to find this incredibly talented person who did not have an agent. And I reached out. I think I reached out via email and we had a conversation and just decided to work together from there. But it can go either way. Like agents will seek out artists, but artists can also seek out agents.
And I do feel like agents seek out artists in this way more than authors experience. Because I do feel
Absolutely.
like a lot of our, so, for those agents and illustrators who don't know, what are the hashtags we're looking at and where are we mostly looking?
Yeah, well, Instagram is a very visual app, which makes sense for illustrators to be there. I feel like, Shirley, you might know the hashtags better than me now, but Kidlit art was always a big one, and there's Kidlit art postcard, something like
oh,
that.
it's a biggie. Yeah, that's
It's
a
the
very
biggest one right now, but it's a long one, so I'm not quite sure what
Mhm.
exactly it is. But it's a monthly event. The first Thursday of every month, all illustrators will kind of create a portfolio image. If they have an agent, they'll list who their agent is, and they post it on that Thursday using the same hashtag. I want to say Kidlit Art Postcard. And that is what a lot of industry professionals will look through just to like bookmark artists, find new clients, find someone who's perfect for a project an editor might be working on. But also just the basic children's books, illustrating, like all of those can never hurt, especially in an Instagram comment.
So, Estrella, were you also querying or were you hashtagging in hopes of finding an agent? Like, tell me what you were thinking in all of
I
this.
was like, oh, one day I would love to work in children's book. Let me see if somebody finds me. But of course, I never dreamed that an agent would contact me. I never in a million years. And I'm going to be very honest, I didn't know a lot what there was a difference between a literary agent and an art rep. And now I know the difference. And I'm so glad it was James who contacted me. I mean, I don't know if I ever told you, but I thought it was a scam. Did I tell you that?
I'm sure you
Yeah, that's
did.
normal.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because I remember talking to my partners like, does this sound good to you? And then because you actually had your YouTube channel, I was like, oh, he's a person. He actually exists. Okay. And then I just went through what was the difference between an art rep and a literary agent. I did a bit of research before we did the call, and I realized actually literary agent is perfect for what I want because I have a lot of friends that are art reps and they just do it a different kind of work. I don't know if you ever want to go through that or if you did
I
it once.
would do, can you give us a short of what the difference is between an art rep and a literary agent?
Yeah, try to be super short. So an art rep can represent artists for any kind of work. It doesn't necessarily need to be publishing, and publishing could be very low on the priority of for an agent. You might work with a team of agents instead of working with one agent, and
Mhm.
the agent doesn't work on your career. It literally just works on the next job. And if there's a
Um,
massive list of clients, you might not be the first one to be picked. I mean, there's of course very good art representation agencies, and I'm not saying that they're bad.
yeah.
Uh, you can get like a really big job, but it could be with a pharmaceutical. You might get a gigantic
Um,
amount of money. Is that what you want to do? I don't know. You could do candles, could be labels for candles, could be books. But sometimes
Yeah.
from other friends that I know, they might work too much on books they don't really want, and the agents are too they're just not focused on you. So if you say, I really want to work on this market, they might look at your portfolio, and they might try to see if they pitch you, but they're not as laser focused as a literary agent. And a literary agent also brings a lot more of your stories. And I know that James and yourself, Jessica, are more editing agents, which art reps are not usually, as far as I know. So all my work that I want to write, because I want to be a writer and illustrator, is edited by James. I don't send anything that James doesn't think it's going to sell. So besides, I think literary agents have your back in the long term. And oh my goodness, James had my back quite a few times when I had maternity leave. And I don't know if I ever told you that, but you were so good at moving my deadlines and actually saying, Estrela, are you taking too much work? He actually always put my welfare first. So
You did need that sometimes.
yeah, it's like, no, 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 you're taking too much. So no, no, no. Like push things, and because sometimes I get too excited with projects, and I
Yeah.
like that James is kind of like my little voice saying, careful. And he really tries to manage my whole career, not just project to project. And I think that's a big difference for literary agents, and the fact that he edits my work as a writer as well. So did that make
Yeah.
sense?
That's actually super helpful because I didn't know that, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers didn't know that. Go ahead.
Also, the commission rate is very different.
Oh
So
yeah, and there's
that's
a reason for that. I actually learned why that is.
yeah,
Maybe you know because before art reps used to receive the portfolios printed and they have to send it, so the cost would actually fall onto the commission. That's why the commission is higher. So
yeah,
historically, that's the reason, but they never changed. The commission is
Right.
huge.
yeah. The
Um,
commission is significantly
yeah,
higher.
So they're no longer printing portfolios.
they don't
Everything's
need.
virtual, but they're still getting the same commission. That's really
Yeah,
interesting.
And they
yeah,
very well might print out like lookbooks and share that with clients as well. I can't speak to it fully, but
Right.
something to
yeah,
it is something to keep in mind because it's a
yeah,
good chunk of money.
Well,
yeah.
it's similar to back in the day when we used to have to go and send full printed manuscripts in
Right,
boxes to
Mhm,
publishers. Difference is we didn't increase our commission for that. We charged expenses, but
right.
mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
we
I
don't
learned that
we
from a
don't do
podcast.
anymore.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
So did you query it all or you weren't at that stage yet?
No, I wasn't at that stage. I actually didn't think I was ready. Well, when James asked me, I was like, I'm ready. But I wasn't ready. But I thought that as well, I didn't know the industry very well. I was still learning for the past. So I say 2 years before we and James connected. That's when I start trying to understand a bit more of the industry. But there
Okay.
was too much to learn, and I still felt like I needed to do more, even though I had that small little picture book that I've done for that fictitious. Well, it's not fictitious client for a charity. I still felt like I wasn't ready. I think we all have the imposter syndrome anyway. So I wasn't querying, and I was in animation. I never thought I was going to leave animation at that point. I thought I was
Right.
going to stay there forever. I thought maybe I do a little gig in illustration. And then the more I've done it, I was like, wait a second, I actually want to do this full time. Can I?
Yeah,
Uh,
and it was a couple years in before you left animation,
I
right?
left animation after my daughter was born, and I was the best excuse. I was like, that's it. Because I was working from 9 to 6 and I did
Yeah,
not work 9 to 6 with a small baby. And I just like books too much. I just love the teams, love the like people in animation are so friendly. I'm not trying to trash
Yeah.
animation, love animation, but it's a tough industry in regards to deadlines. And that's why, James, you were saying that animators are very fast because
hmm
the deadlines are yesterday. We're always late. That's always how we
right.
work, and we always have to redo everything if the client doesn't like it. So we used to just work crazy. We still love the job, but I just didn't want to do that. I just wanted to work on a nice pace. I'm not saying that it's slow, but it's a nice pace,
Right.
healthy pace in illustration. Work with a smaller team, yeah, have a physical product. I think that's what I wanted. Yeah.
Mhm.
So when you made that decision, did you and James have sort of a career discussion about what you needed to be able to do that and what he needed to do? And James, did you want to pass out because that conversation? Because when an author says they want to quit their day job, I have a mini heart attack every time because I feel such a greater sense of responsibility.
I will just to answer that really quick, I will say no. And I think that's probably the difference between authors and illustrators. Estrella gets a lot of projects offered
Yeah.
her way. And I think thankfully, her work is perfect for the market. And I think that you had reached a point, especially after having your first daughter, that you needed the time. So it worked out well for you to be able to have more time to devote to the projects that were paying you. So I wasn't in fear for my life
Oh, that's
that
great
it
though.
was gonna be full time. Honestly, I was like almost a little relieved because then the
Yeah.
projects that came through that we might have had to turn away for time, you
Yes.
felt much more comfortable to take on. So no, I really was not.
Well, you both knew it was time
It
then.
was it's
I
kind of
did.
like, how you kicked me out of my own job as being the assistant. Like it was kind of like that. Like
Yeah.
it was you had Estrella had outgrown working full time and was ready to do this full time. I think that
Yeah.
was actually a really cool moment.
It's like the planets align. I just felt like I just want to work. And this is a lot of moms that are illustrators ask me, how do I manage? Of course, I have childcare, but I don't have to work 9 to 6, that 9 to 6 hours. Sorry, not to 6 hours, sorry. 9 to 6 schedule. And when you have kids, it's good to be flexible. So if you're freelancing as an illustrator, it's just perfect. So I thought, like, let's just do this. I mean, I was scared, but at the same time, I did not want to work 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 with a small baby. There, I was like, perfect excuse.
Do it scared.
You said this a couple of times about having childcare, and the truth is, you are working your own schedule. You are your own boss. You are, I don't like to say freelancer because I think you are your own boss, but you still very much treat it like it's a 9 to 5. You have the childcare and you've built in the support, so it is a job. It's not something you're treating as a hobby.
No, it's not a hobby. But at the same time, now I'm actually from 3 weeks' time, I'm going to have a more normal schedule. So I try to be with my daughters in the morning because I like to spend time with them. So I bring them to crash a bit late. You don't say crash in America, you say,
Like a babysitter.
yeah.
I had to
So
learn that too.
yeah. So I bring them there around 10 so I can play with them in the morning, have breakfast, have family time, have quality family time. Then I come home, be with my dog for half an hour, get my things together, and then I work. I usually would work for 4 hours. That's it. And I've noticed that since I became a mom, people are like, "How the hell do you manage to do work in 4 hours? The amount of work that you do is like because you're laser focused when you know you only have 4 hours. There's no chats with anybody. There's only
Mm-mm.
my podcast and my my drawings. That's it. And I do not get distracted. I get more work done. And I think most parents think that. Now I'm actually going to start working a bit more from 10 till 5. So that's almost a day job, but still
That
I'm
is
home.
a day job. Because if you're
Yeah.
Yeah,
working in an office, you're spending at least 3 hours just catching up on office gossip, let's face it.
Mhm.
yeah, or meetings or a
Right,
lot of
right.
meetings. So yeah, but I try, but at least I'm home when the girls come at 5 o'clock. I'm free. I can just spend from 5 till they go to bed. I can just be with them. So
That's
Yeah.
nice.
I feel very grateful. And I know not everybody can have that. So oh my goodness, I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
Well, and you worked very hard to be able to make that happen too. Um, so you both have sort of mentioned saying no to projects, which is something I think that probably especially at the beginning of everyone's career is unfathomable that you would actually say no to something. So how does that conversation go between the two of you? And, how do you make those decisions?
Do you want to? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
I have
will
a few
say.
that still hurts. That still hurts. That I had to say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I say that, but maybe James knows which ones they are. I don't know.
I think I do. I think most of the no's that we've had to say were schedule related, so it's easier. I think to be like, it just doesn't. We're not going to be able to do it. Although I think that's harder for you, Estrella, to say, I just can't swing it, as opposed to this is not right for me.
Mhm.
I don't think we've had an instance where the manuscript came was just totally not for you. Um,
Mhm.
because I think people can see your art and your portfolio and know where it kind of fits and what kind of books would really shine with it. So I don't think we've had an instance where we had to turn it down for like creative fit. Most of it was schedule based, where I don't know, it's also kind of nice to be able to say, hey, I have all these other projects. I'm too busy. I'm getting paid over there, so I can't take this one. Though I know that that still does pain you.
Sometimes the projects are really good. I have at
Right.
least two projects that it just broke my heart, and it still
Yeah.
breaks my heart because I know the books are out now.
I know.
And
I saw one pop up.
but it was the two times that I had to turn down big projects is because I had small babies, so the first baby and then the other baby, and I had
Right.
to. like they're my priority right now. So, and I know this is a season, so they're yeah.
Yeah, but
I
every time
prefer
we
to
get an
be with them.
offer, whenever an offer comes through, I always like to call Estrella because then we can have like just the whole conversation about, all right, what do you think of the book? Is this a book that you like? Do you see a vision as a character forming? We have that kind of creative conversation. We have the conversation about the publisher and is this a publisher you've liked working with, you didn't, so on and so forth. The terms, which is conversation that's always the most fun for me, probably the least fun for Estrella. But like, is the advance where it needs to be? Are you getting the right, package of rights? Are your royalties industry standard? And then we like the last thing we will discuss is the schedule. Is this going to work? Can you fit this with your current workload? What time do you need? What will not work for you? Can we push whatever? So that's the kind of like progression we take almost every offer call is first, do you like it? Then do you like them? And then we get to like the technical, does it make financial and time-wise sense?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. That's great. It's fun to be able to, I always say it's a huge step in your career when you get to say no.
But then you feel really bad because like, oh no, they're never gonna hire me again. Because
Yes.
I never told this to James. I actually talked with an author that we had to say no because of schedule reasons. And I saw an interview with her with something else, and I just emailed saying, "Do you know that book that there?" Maybe she didn't even know, but I was like, "I actually really wanted to work with you, but just didn't happen." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't know." I said because I was gonna have a baby, and she's like, "Oh, that's lovely," because I like her work. So she was like, "Oh, that's so lovely that you said that." Now I know why you said no. It was not just because you didn't want to work for me. I was like, "Yeah, there you go.
Right.
I got pulled up."
They might
Absolve some
come,
of the guilt.
that author might come around again. You never
Yeah.
know. Those things are,
And that's something that we talk about. Like, Estrella has a lot of industry friends. I think that's a great thing for illustrators to know and do because those illustrators will think of you when their teams say, who do you have in mind? Are there any people that would be, your goal for this project or on your wish list? And I think that that's helpful.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good, but it's a lovely industry. So why not just make lots of friends in the authors are lovely and you have nothing to lose. I mean, yeah, if maybe they might mention your name. Of course, that's not the reason why I'm friends with them, but they're just lovely people, and it's like promoting other people as well and try to, you know, bring good karma so you can get good karma back. So yeah.
I believe in that a lot.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we're kind of going backwards here, but can we talk about how the pitching process works? James, how do you pitch Estrella's work? And Estrella, we had talked in the last video of you having the social media, but also your portfolio on your website. So I'm curious how that still happens for you today.
Yeah,
Do you want to talk
literally
about
today.
when we pitch? But do you want to talk when we pitch our my own book dummies? Because that's
Yeah,
yeah.
Well,
can we start
you're an
there?
author illustrator, and then so I'm curious about pitching, yeah, your author illustrator books, but also how James pitches illustrators, just the illustrative work, the illustrations.
Yeah.
Yeah, so James, you can. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So we kind of have two different ways of working because the author illustrator kind of works the way authors work in general. When you have something new, Charlotte will send it my way, or if she needs a brainstorming partner, she'll reach out like, "This is what I'm thinking. Can you take a look? Can we talk about it?" We've had plenty of creative brainstorming calls trying to figure out the right angle for a project or the right plot. So that works pretty standard the way an author would work with their agent. On the illustration side, we do a few different things. So, as an agency, we have a complete lookbook of all of our illustrators. Every illustrator has a two-page spread where we have a headshot and then whatever new or like beautiful portfolio pieces that would speak to that person's work will fill up the spread. So we have that. It lives on our website, but also we send it out to editors, designers, art directors, the whole nine yards. We have a contact list of almost 1,000 people that we send that lookbook to every 3 to 4 months.
Mhm.
But then also for my own clients, we have a bi-monthly mailer, which I like to give a theme per month. And then the illustrator clients that I work with will create a piece to meet that theme, and I'll send out a gallery of new art. That's kind of, we talked about it in the last video, but that's how I like to meet that exposure thing. Like illustrators can be more successful if they get more exposure to editors and art directors. So if every 2 months we're sending out a new piece, one that meets a theme, which I think could be super helpful to show editors and art directors that this person can meet the task that they're kind of given. Um, it's just putting their work out there for free. Like we just send it out there, it's an email. We've gotten plenty of offers
Oh
for
yeah.
like I remember one client put a dragon image in a theme. It was like water was the theme, put a dragon image, and not 1 month later got an offer to illustrate a dragon book. So it can be super helpful. And then we also are using social media. Bookends has social media. We've collab posted before on Instagram. We share our clients' work. So we just try to that multi-pronged approach of putting the work out there as much as possible to supplement the illustrators who, like Estrella, is on social media, Instagram, YouTube, doing whatever they can.
Mhm.
And so Estrella, so I always say to everybody, social media is great, but make sure you have a space where you own your material and that's your website.
Yeah.
So I understand you were just redoing your website.
Literally
Yeah,
today.
because I just showed it to a few friends and they were like, maybe I'm missing this and that. And I was like, my goodness, I actually missed a few books. So I just updated it today. Yay. So yeah,
Perfect
because
timing.
yeah, perfect timing.
Everyone go look at Estrella's new website.
So I try to put a lot more on the comic section because I am trying to break into the graphic novel industry, and I try to update more of my book work into my main illustration, because I know not everybody clicks on every single book.
Right.
So I learned that from another podcast. So I thought maybe it's a good idea to just have some of the books I've illustrated mixed in with the illustrations I did for fun, and my homepage is different. All the little reviews are there, all nice and cute.
That looks great.
I followed another author illustrator that did that. I was like, oh, that looks very cute. So I was like, maybe I should do the same. Yeah, keep updating that and creating that website. So it's your place. There's no algorithms. There's nothing. I mean, it's there. So
Right, right. And then you're still posting to social media, or are you taking a break from that right now because you are busy?
I am very busy, so I try not. I wish I would post a lot more. I'm gonna say that, but I post. What I try to do is I post work that I've done that I can actually show from books, or I try to post process, or so I always try to post at least. I know it is a season, so at least once a week I try to post something, if not every 2 days, every 3 days, but
Right.
not something. It's not something that I've done that night. It's something that it's from a book. It's a sneak peek. It's maybe books that arrive home with little
Yeah.
hands opening the boxes, because people always like to see. Well, my kids don't show up, but the little hands show up in the excitement.
I love
Um,
that.
and it's so cute because my daughter, my oldest, just opened the Taco Night box and she's like, "It's Taco Night!" I was like, "Ah, it's perfect. You recognize it." And yeah, it's so I try to do little promotions. So it's like you're saying, like you have to be your own marketing. Uh,
Mm.
Yeah.
so I even had a friend years ago that said, "Your work, like this was, I hope my work is okay now to get jobs." But he said, "Your work is not amazing, but you're just so good at putting yourself out there." That's what he said. And he's like, "Yeah, I try as much as I can to just what Jake Parker said." Sorry, I wanted to mention Jake Parker again. He said, put as much or make his work as good as it could be and show it to the point that people cannot ignore you anymore. They
Yeah.
cannot ignore you. And I thought that was such a great advice. It's still, as you can tell, it's still in my head. So I still try to use that. So
Yeah. Also, your work is amazing. So I just wanted
Yeah,
to
I was gonna say that.
that stuck with me.
But I also think that's a really good point that, because I think sometimes people seek perfection and they
mm,
don't they stay stagnant, right? They don't post it because it's not perfect. They don't create the website because it's not perfect yet. And when before we started filming today, I mentioned how YouTube started. I was in a chair with a sheet behind me, and those videos are still available. You can still watch them, but we've gotten hopefully a little better as we've grown, but I think that's all part of the process. And I think if we wait for perfection, nothing happens. Those
Yeah.
deals wouldn't have happened if you were still sitting there thinking everything had to be perfect before you could post it.
yeah,
Yeah.
finish not perfect. That's what a lot of illustrators know. They just
Hmm.
finish. And then you get better as you do more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can just emphasize one thing Estrella said was the point about when you said you were redoing your website to add more comics because you want to do more comic work.
Yeah.
That is what I tell all illustration clients is your website should be a reflection of the type of work you want to do. So if you
Yeah.
Mhm.
want to do chapter books, you need black and white images on there. If you want to do humor, you need funny books, big characters, lively art, scenes, all of that. If you want to do really beautiful, heartwarming books, your art should reflect that. So any art or project that your dream project that you want to be offered, make sure that the style of art in your portfolio reflects that so that when people are looking for you, they can see it. Kind of like what Jake Parker said. We want it to be undeniable.
Yeah. People eventually want to do something about you, either work with you, talk to you. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And if as work a little bit as I can on comics, because some people that in the comic industry started following me, people that I know, so I'm like, ooh, maybe it is working. So I am
Yeah.
it's like I was jumping departments in animation, now I'm jumping departments in or yeah, in children's books. I was in picture book, I do board books, then I'm middle grade, now a little graphic novel. I just can't stay on one lane.
No, I think that's
I don't believe in
natural
lane.
with life. Like we want to keep growing and exploring new things. I
Exactly.
love that. Um, I actually think that's a great way to end it. So
Yeah.
inspirational for both of you. Before we go, Estrella, do you want to both of you hold up some of your favorites, some of your books?
Okay. I've got your two most recent.
Mine is weird. These two are coming very soon. What? So yeah, so I
So
will do James, and then I'm gonna.
exactly. Yep.
And
Peek and Boo is written and illustrated by Estrella. It is her first board book, and
I
it's
love
incredible. It's super fun. So go out and get this in September. And I think it's Taco Night is out already. So
tomorrow. Tomorrow, the
tomorrow.
19th. Tomorrow,
Oh,
yeah.
happy Pub Day. I love it.
Yep.
Fun because it's my first. I love this
Oh,
book, and it's inspired by my dog. It doesn't look anything like my dog, but it was inspired by a walk we did. So
I,
yeah.
as somebody who walks my dog every single day, that book warms my heart.
Yep.
Yay! And it has a
It
bit of- See, here I go with doing the graphic novel thing. See, it's a very comic. It's a bit of comic
is
going.
very comic.
It's like a hybrid kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
making the transition.
Yeah. And yeah, that's very dear to my heart, so I want to show that. And there's others, but I don't know if we have time, so I don't want to
Go
take
visit
too
that
much.
new website.
Check out the new website. We'll put the link below. And
Yes.
I want to thank you both. This was so much fun for me. I learned a ton. And I think everybody else will too. So
And I
thank
thank
you.
you because I'm a big fan, so it's just cool.
We
It's just
loved
really
having
cool.
you.
Oh,
Thank
and by the way, for all of our viewers, if you just want pure joy in your social media, start following illustrators. There is nothing I love more than when somebody at BookEnds posts their newest illustrators and I can just open the screen and leave it open all day. Just the illustrations just warm my heart every single time. So
Oh, it's great to know.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you back here next week.
thank you.
Bye.